Hello everybody, it's Breezy, and today we're going to be reading r/Nice Guys stories. I'll be reading the stories and giving my thoughts and opinions at the end, and sometimes throughout the stories. So let's go ahead and get started. Nice Guy pursues a married woman. For context, this story didn't happen to me exactly, though I was a witness. It happened to a friend of mine about a decade ago, and I recently got the go-ahead to share. Names have been changed to protect their identities. This was long before I even knew what a nice guy was. This centers around two people, one of whom is a friend we'll refer to as Tori, not her real name, 23 female, and the nice guy in question we'll call Billy, age unknown, possibly very late teens. Hard to tell because he had a youthful-looking face. Billy was average height, light brown hair, very skinny, dressed in all black everything, pants, shoes, shirts, smelt like he'd never showered, horrid B.O., and for some reason always acted high and mighty, like the world owed him something, even though his grades were poor. Even said once that he got a 50 average because his teachers obviously couldn't handle how truly intelligent he was and deliberately made him fail out of jealousy. Or some such nonsense. Can't remember exactly what he said, but he was convinced he was smarter than everyone else. Moreover, he acted as if he was God's gift to women. He tried to cozy up to any woman that caught his eye, but seemed especially fond of blondes. Tori was a slightly shorter woman with long blonde hair, blue eyes, very pretty. Often dressed smartly, mostly in suits, though actually quite feminine. Billy met me and Tori back when we were studying both history and literature on campus. Tori and I hit it off almost immediately over a shared love of history, though we were not really close and only rarely spoke one-on-one. Billy, on the other hand, almost immediately started acting as if the two of them were close, trying to sit next to her every day and acting out often to try to get her attention, even though she was, and to this day still is, happily married. She often glowingly spoke about her husband and mentioned once about how the two of them were high school sweethearts with a big smile. Nevertheless, Billy shared his thoughts about her, loudly. He was convinced that her husband was an asshole and that he was somehow coercing her to say such positive things about him. Every day, Billy would walk into class, try to talk her into leaving her husband, and then make a fuss when she refused, saying he could tell at once they were soulmates. And I can treat her like the princess that she is, and other such nice guy rhetoric. For her part, Tori would just try to ignore him, though this didn't deter him. When I asked her why she didn't report him, Tori said, "I've handled annoying guys like him before. Just ignore him long enough and he'll get the hint." Oh, how wrong she was. Instead of giving up, Billy doubled down on his efforts and soon began to insult her husband, even though he never met the guy. He would claim her husband was cheating, question her, "Why do you stay with the wrong man?" Say she deserved better, said he was going to one day be wealthy and would take care of her, just about every trick in the book. Naturally, none of it worked, and Tori did her very best to just ignore him, convinced he would just give up. She eventually did fire back and state that Billy did not know her situation, and he did not know her husband. Billy's reply? "But I do know him and his type. I can tell right away you are unhappy. You're only pretending you're not. I can see it in your eyes." Tori, with the coldest cold glare, responded, "You don't know me at all. You don't know him at all. Now knock it off and leave me alone, or I swear I will report you." Deflated, Billy spent the rest of the class sulking quietly. But he wasn't done yet. Things came to a head when, a week or so later, Tori showed up for class, and after rejecting Billy's advances, usual "I can treat you better than he can" argument, for the umpteenth time, told him the most shocking news he had ever heard. Tori was pregnant. Right there, in the middle of class, Billy just up and started sobbing. When asked what was wrong by the teacher, Billy, in between tears, exclaimed, "The love of my life is going to give birth to an asshole's child. He knocked her up, and he's going to mistreat that baby, and she's okay with it." Dear God, dude. Naturally, the teacher didn't find this at all sympathetic and told Billy to knock it off. Right there, Billy stood up and, tears still falling, ran out of the classroom. Tori, on the other hand, looked as if she wanted to die of embarrassment. The teacher continued the lesson, and the very next day, Billy didn't show up, nor the next day. Eventually, I came to find out he had dropped out. I don't know what happened to him to this day, but I do know Tori later gave birth to a healthy daughter, and she and her husband are still together, happy to this day. The too long didn't read is a nice guy tried to make a classmate in college leave her husband, only to run off crying when he found out she was happily married and pregnant. Wow, that was one hell of a read. Yeah, so, there is a small silver lining here. If he was as young as OP thought he was, and he was in his late teens, really early 20s, let's hope he's done some growing. And let's hope that this humbled the fuck out of him. Because men like this, they go on and on about, "Oh, I can treat you so much better. Then why are you crossing my boundary after I told you to go away?" You know, you already are showing that you don't listen to me, which is an even bigger turnoff than what I already was. You know? Anyways, let's move on to the next story. Shall we? "You chose rocks over a pot of gold," says my nice guy friend. I told him on more than one occasion that I am happy with, attracted to, and in love with my partner. While I used to be attracted to my friend many years ago, my feelings have since changed, and he was aware that I liked him as a brother and family. We would hang out. Nothing romantic or sexual would happen or be talked about. I asked if I ever made him uncomfortable years later. He said no. We stopped being romantic years before I met my boyfriend. I would talk to my friend about anything, and he even seemed to care about me, my boyfriend, and my boyfriend's daughter. He would send us Christmas cards, kind gifts, nice cards, and ask how we were doing. When he confessed feelings for me, I was flattered, but I did not reciprocate, as I wasn't under this impression. Gradually, it descended into a barrage of verbal abuse via text. One of the gems saying that I chose a bag of rocks, my boyfriend to him, over a pot of gold, friend to himself. He literally thinks he's perfect, evolved, and has done all this work on himself. Guess what? My boyfriend is also doing this. He is working hard to make sure we stay afloat. My friend has a lot more money than boyfriend and I put together, but I wasn't after that, nor was I after him as a side piece or last option. I genuinely liked being around him because I thought he was safe and told him so. He said some other horrible things, including about my whole family being narcissists. He accused me of lying about my feelings and that I had too big of an ego and mask. While I liked my friend's personality and we connected really well, we agreed a long time ago that it wouldn't work out due to him being my parents' friend. Excuse me, my guy, but there was no competition. We would talk about him and the potential women that entered his life, and I never got mad or upset about it. My boyfriend knew that my friend was like an older brother to me, and I won't tell people the negative shit he said about him, but come on. Dude is pushing 60 years old. My boyfriend and I have an age gap, but my boyfriend knew me as an adult. This guy knew me since I was 9. Ew! Ew! I know what his problem is, but I've noticed that he does this a lot with friends and my family over disagreements, differing opinions, anything really. I called him out. He didn't like it and said that we all need to heal. His last words to me were that he wanted a mature woman who could stand on her own 2 feet and take responsibility for her actions. Someone who he said definitely wasn't me. It's the "you can't fire me, I quit anyways" energy. I am done with him, but still hurt as we had a great friendship, which he didn't even acknowledge. Okay, I was not expecting the twist there of him not only being your friend, but your parents' friend as well. Not only that, but the fact that when you got old enough, you had to talk about how you two couldn't be together even though you had feelings for each other. For you, OP, you were really young and dumb, but he was old enough to know better. There is so many disgusting implications here now. Ugh. Okay, I feel gross after reading that, so this next story is gonna be a bit of a palate cleanser. Today I fucked up. Former nice guy, when in college, accidentally doxing myself to a girl who just wanted to buy a toaster. So this happened almost a decade ago. I was 20 and am now 28. I was 20 and am now 28. But I'm now in a happy relationship and even had a few before this one where I learned to grow by grace of God. And I'm still recovering from the cringe. I was in a stage of trying to get over a high school sweetheart via painful Tinder meetups, so I tried to be wholesome. I, 20 male, was browsing Facebook Marketplace because I was a savvy wannabe fake businessman. And I found this absolute unit of a toaster for $10. Stainless steel, 4 slots, bagel setting. I messaged the seller, Hannah, who looked to be around my age and had a profile picture where she was holding a cat. So naturally, immediately fell in love. With the cat, obviously. This is what I told myself, and is what I would have said at the time. I just wanted cheek clappage. Anyway, I messaged her like, "Hey, is the toaster still available?" She replied quickly with, "Yep, still got it." At this point, I made the critical error of deploying the nice guy protocol. I figured I'd stand out from all the other "aye, baby, can I get for free, I got kids," since we live in a low-income Florida, by being overly polite and emotionally available. Or what I thought that sounded like at the time, anyway. "Awesome. I just want to say, you seem super kind and genuine. Not a lot of girls into toast and cats these days. You're like a rare Pokemon or something." This is like a generalization. I really called her Rayquaza and said she's as cute as her. Well, she was actually into Pokemon, and so was I. Not at the time, but I almost beat Emerald. She told me Mr. Ray is a boy. Off to a great start. Thanks, I guess. You want to pick it up today? Undeterred, I went full simp mode. I'd love to. Also, I just want to say, if no one told you today, you're beautiful and deserve someone who understands you're more than just a girl selling kitchen stuff. She left me on red. But wait, it gets worse. I was working at LA Fitness at the time and got my fake promotion with like what I thought was $70K a year, but it was like $3K a month. I decided to sweeten the deal by offering to pay $50 and told her some cringe shit like, get your nails done too. Still no reply. So I showed up at the pickup address anyway. Oh my god! Thought I was Drake in the headlines video before the pedo allegations. I 100% peaked right after high school around this time. I dated girls way out of my league because I would exaggerate my income and got tattoos I don't care for anymore, and was leasing a Jaguar my mom ended up taking over the payments on because I went to jail a year later. She opened the door, saw me, and said, "Oh, you're the toaster guy." I nodded, handed her some cheap Publix flowers, and like a better toaster, but no money. She closed the door. I stood there for a solid minute until a middle-aged man, her dad maybe, opened it again and said, "She's not selling you the toaster. Here's your stuff. Don't come back." I said, "Keep it, sir," walked away defeated and super high to my new car that was worth more than my salary. I think I turned around and pointed at the car and said nothing. Just a sad face and wah. Dad just shook his head and I think he said, "Son, please get some help. I'm sure you're an alright boy, but you need Jesus." Ladies and gentlemen, in that moment, I aged 10 years. Not only in maturity, but physically. Pretty sure I only stood there a minute, but it felt like an hour every cringe act against humanity replayed in my head. Too long didn't read. Tried to buy a toaster on my Xanax 50K a year, look at me, I'm 20 high horse. Bought her a $50 one at Walmart and some roses. I forgot what I paid. Got toaster, cucked, humbled, and an ego death of DMT proportions. Edit, forgot to mention, I already had a toaster. I just wanted an excuse to talk to her. Hey, you got a funny story out of it. There's nothing wrong with taking accountability for your actions. That's the difference between you and a lot of guys that are talked about on this thread. Some of you guys, you learn and you grow. You were in your early 20s at that time. You were young, you were stupid, you went through that phase, and you said you've grown, and I can only give you the benefit of the doubt now because you're not the same person you were back then. Hopefully. Anyways, let's take a break and look at some memes, particularly sticking with the theme. We're gonna look at some nice girls now to take a small break from the stories. Because let's be honest, this type of behavior isn't gender exclusive.
I hate men.
Why?
Who wouldn't, bruh? The shit they do.
What did they do?
Before we get into an argument, if I tell a guy I hate men, on everyone's soul, I like them so much, and I'm not including you with the men.
Okay.
Yeah, some of the guys I tell this to get so upset and triggered, like, girl, if I hated, I wouldn't be talking to you.
Okay, but that's what happens when you generalize. See, if the genders were flipped here, we'd all be having a fit about it, but since it's someone saying that they hate men, it's fine because it's men. And they deserve the hate, supposedly. What would you bring as a first date gift? Red flag, red flag, red flag. Question mark. The first date is about getting to know each other and seeing if you're compatible, not about giving gifts. Seriously. Mine and my boyfriend's first date was... We didn't even meet IRL. We were video chatting over Discord, and he was streaming his PC, and we watched Godzilla 2014. That movie did Bryan Cranston so dirty. Hey there. Aw, man. I had a dog, so I don't think this would work. So you swiped right? Why? I'ma just start posting tall men being assholes trying to waste women's time out here on social media. LMAO, maybe then y'all will just stop that nonsense. I didn't read the bio, unfortunately. Sorry, it wasn't intentional. LMAO, so you just admitted to not looking at women's profiles and just randomly swiping? I don't think that's any better, hun. But I'm guessing you didn't read my bio either, otherwise you would have seen that I have a pup. See, the thing about calling someone out on their bullshit is that you should probably make sure that you are also not doing the same bullshit. Would you be capable of lending me $20 just until Monday morning? I'm good with paying back what I owe. You can hold me to it. I really just need something for tonight. That would be very helpful. You give Mr. Nice Chill Guy vibes. Don't worry. I got you. You've been blessed. It's just a picture of an actual buck. Nice antlers. Yeah, this guy made the right choice. Are you curious to know why you failed my first test? Not really, no. But I feel like you're gonna tell me anyway. It makes my point, sadly. Dude, can we all just stop doing this? Can we just stop testing our partners? Like, just stop. It's not healthy. And you're proving nothing. Except that they probably can't trust you because they're gonna wonder if it's just another test, and they'll be walking on eggshells around you, wondering if they picked the correct choice. Okay, now that our palates have been cleansed, let's get on with the next story. Do they ever stop? Sorry, OP, but no. No, they don't. Hey, so I, female 30, know a nice guy who we'll call Seagal, male 30, because he looks like Steven Seagal from Belly of the Beast. Seagal is a nice guy through and through, and I won't lie, he is very nice, but it's that yucky fake nice manipulative people use. He really likes me despite the fact we've only met technically twice, and both of those times were a brief hello in public. Dude just doesn't get it. He hit me up all the time, asking me if I want to go on a date or go hang out, no lie, in a field with him. I saw the interior of his vehicle once and just know that if I ever chilled with him, I'd end up butchered. That eerie sinking feeling. Yeah, as soon as I saw it, I knew that'd be where I meet my end. Anyway, one thing that makes him creepy, in my opinion, is his constant insistence that he loves me. I've tried explaining why that can't possibly be true, and he just snubs me. Oh, yes, I do, Seagal will say. We're meant to be. It's creepy. One time, Seagal hit me up on Facebook and asked me if I wanted to see him naked. Ew! That's disgusting! This guy's bold. Gross. I politely declined, and Seagal sent me a vid of him making sucking gestures before panning his cam to his bare ass. Oh my God! I don't understand this, and will it ever stop? I'm very non-confrontational, so saying my real thoughts and feelings toward him is something I'm kind of scared to do. A relevant comment says, stop talking with him. Block him on your phone, and if he shows up in person, stay in a public space where there are lots of people. In this instance, you can tell him that what he sent you over the phone was grossly inappropriate, and you are done. Then ignore. Do not speak with him any further. OP's response: it was actually a few months ago that he sent that. I try to be as calm as possible, always, so my first instinct wasn't to block. I felt bad for him because he told me he's never been with anyone before, so I did actually consider helping him out with that. No. Don't do that. Do not give him a pity fuck. That's what he wants. But then the video came out and I was just, I don't know, definitely saw him a little bit different. I put a cow sound effect over the part where he opens his mouth and it fit too perfectly. I'd post, but I don't want him ever finding it. I can tell he uses Reddit. So I don't know what happened to the recording of the video I just did. Maybe I forgot to hit the recording button, but basically what I said on my thoughts at the end of this one was this man is sexually harassing OP, and if she can, she really should find a way to report him. I had to go back and reread to make sure they weren't like coworkers or anything. No, this guy just randomly decided to start just cyber stalking her, and she really needs to get past her confrontation issues or he's gonna keep stalking her. Well, I don't know what happened with my recordings because I can't find the title piece for this next one. But this next one is the worst Hinge date this OP has ever been on. Disclaimer, sorry if this is long-winded, but I'm not great with explaining things via text. Honestly, I don't know if this even counts as a nice guy, but I just wanted to share my story of the most uncomfortable date ever. So we met on Hinge, which in my opinion is a lot better than Tinder if you're looking to actually date someone. He was nice on text, didn't give me any hints of how the date would actually go. I will admit, some of his texts were pure cringe, and some of the things he would say were moving too fast for me, seeing as though we hadn't even met yet. Come round to the first time we were supposed to meet, my cat died on the day, so obviously I wasn't gonna go. I tell him, and he's completely understanding of the situation, and we rearrange. Okay, bare minimum. But I was like, oh, he's really nice. Anyway, fast forward to a week later, and we finally meet up. We meet at a bar, and it's going okay. Conversation is going smooth. He even brought trinkets to look at, which I love myself a cool trinket. Now, this is where it starts to get uncomfortable. We were sat across from each other like you would do, but he started asking me to move next to him. I said, no, I'm okay over here, moved on from it, but he did not let up at all. He could not take my no as an answer, so I had to just end up move to sit next to him so he would stop, because he would not stop pulling a face I would say was like a puppy dog face, which was making me cringe so bad. Mind you, this man was 31 years old, and I was 23, nearly 24 at the time. Then he proceeded to grab my leg and put it over his, which I was like, I kept pulling it off, but again, he just kept putting it back and acting offended if I took my own fucking leg away. Honestly, I know what you might be thinking. Why didn't I just leave at this point? And I really wish I had. My dumbass then agrees to go on the Ferris wheel with him. He's also just been constantly whispering in my ear about how he wants to kiss me passionately. I genuinely feel so gross just typing this out. Girl, I feel gross just reading it. We end up on it and he ends up unzipping my coat. When I told him, no, I'm cold, please stop, he then brushed his hand over my breast, and that's where I drew the line and told him, no, that's way too far. The way he would just constantly apologize but keep doing these things when I would tell him no multiple times is crazy. Anyway, by the end of the date, I was mentally exhausted and extremely uncomfortable. I just wanted to go home. He takes me to the train station and is hinting for me to stay over at his. Obviously, I say no. Then he proceeded to tell me that he was going to send me a dick pic when he got home, and I was actually mortified that he thought that was okay to say. I tell him I don't appreciate unsolicited dick pics, so please don't do it. I get home, and the next day, I blocked and removed him from Instagram. Didn't give him an explanation because I genuinely didn't want to talk to him. There were other stuff throughout the date, but that was just really weird. The way he just wouldn't stop touching me. I got so overstimulated that I had to take myself to the bathroom to calm down. I wish I had left, but I think I felt stuck and worried. Would like to point out he was fully acting like we were already in a long-term relationship and was saying how he wanted me to move into his house in 6 months' time and that I wouldn't need to work and he would pay for everything. And also the fact that he hadn't been in a relationship for 7 years and claimed that every girl he went on a date with said he was too much, literally blaming the girls for his shitty behavior. Genuinely crazy stuff. Okay, dude, I get it. You're lonely, you're starved for touch, but too much too soon is too much too soon. I'm in a happy relationship for a year and a half so far, but back before I met him and was dating, I had a guy once tell me he left me after only binge texting for 3 hours. 3 hours! I tried to give him the benefit of the doubt, thought maybe he was just excited like a puppy, but he wouldn't stop. Eventually, I realized this guy isn't going to treat anything with me like a first. I'm just going to be treated like an extension of his last relationship. He wanted to get from point A to point B like a microwave rather than a slow cooker, which is how a healthy relationship should brew. It should brew like a slow cooker, not a microwave. Dude, not to mention, you told him to stop multiple times and he wouldn't, which means he was obviously crossing boundaries. And OP, hopefully you've learned this lesson by now, but when you say no, you really need to stick to that, because once one boundary is crossed, they're going to think, oh, I can cross this one next too. She'll just give in because she'll want me to shut up. Or whether or not he knows that, it's just, you give them an inch, they'll take a mile. And this guy really, he tried to initiate sex on a Ferris wheel, for God's sakes. I mean, you're lucky to have gotten out of there. Just, yeah, I would have noped right out of there as soon as he kept touching my leg. I'd have finished my food because, food's food, and then I would have gone home. Like, no. play some Legend of Zelda or Skyrim or something, bleach my brain a little bit, and try to rid my brain of that experience. Anyways, let's get on with our last story of the evening. I think my friend might be turning into a nice guy. Should I say something? Hey all, I, 27 female, have this friend. Let's call him Steven, who is 30. Steven has always had a more out there sense of humor, but anytime I or one of our friends has said we were uncomfortable with a joke, he has stopped saying it if we communicated that. As the only girl in a friend group of guys who game, we, including myself, will make stereotypically sexist jokes, mostly to mock people who say that stuff wholeheartedly. I never felt disrespected by any of them and knew that I could always say, hey, that's a line in the sand for me, about anything. However, over the past few years, I've noticed a bit of a change in Steven. First, it was a casual relationship he had that didn't pan out, where he turned from calling this girl the most amazing person he'd met to talking about how fake she was for leading him on, and saying some women these days type comments. He also would make comments about how women on social media have it so easy because they can just show their bodies and get likes easily. I am a woman on social media with somewhat of a following, but always following it up with, but you're not like that, obviously. Recently, some of the comments have started making me uncomfortable. They're not about me, but women in general. He has frequently expressed disappointment with dating and dating apps, but also is very critical of the women on them, saying he only matches with land whales, and describes not wanting to date a mother as it would be playing on someone else's save file. I never know what to say to this, because we've been friends for a long while now, and already have had a bit of a falling out years ago over a funny video I posted of us, where he said I used him to get likes and it was only because I was a woman. I forgave him for that, but it stuck with me, especially with the recent comments. I understand being bitter, but I don't think the way he's expressing it is good at all. To some extent, I feel like it's almost my responsibility as a friend to tell him he might want to chill. But I have no idea how I would go about it without sounding judgmental or making him feel attacked or upset. Should I just leave it be and maybe say, hey, that's not great next time he makes a comment like that? Say something one-on-one, or just keep doing what I'm doing and keeping my mouth shut? Well, OP, his reaction to you telling him is going to tell you everything you need to know about your friendship. Because given this man's age and given what little you've told us about his dating history, it sounds like he is going to be one of the few nice, he's going to be one of the nice guys that is stuck like this. Feel free to call him out on it, and depending on his reaction, you need to ask yourself, is this someone I want as a friend? Is this person worth keeping around? And hey, if he's the one that makes the most inappropriate jokes that make everyone else uncomfortable, maybe you should call out his bullshit in front of the other guys. That way you'll have them defending you. And you'll see who shares the same mindset or not as he does. Anyways, that's gonna do it for today's video. I hope you all enjoyed it. If you enjoy my content, feel free to subscribe, hit the like button, feel free to comment on this video with your thoughts and opinions. If you want to support me, feel free to sign up for my Patreon, link below. Thanks for watching, and I will see you all in my next video. Bye-bye!